Hey YouTube! So it's getting ready to rain and I needed a new route here in Jacksonville anyway to kind of do some testing for city streets to highway conversions, kind of like I did in Orlando. And I thought I would take advantage of a little bit of inclement weather just to kind of see if we can get any, I guess, what would be the right word? Variability due to version 11 in the weather. A little bit of an unprotected right-hand turn all the way out to the creep limit. Looks like it's doing pretty good there. If you hadn't seen it, I posted an unprotected left-hand turn video here at this intersection this morning. It did a pretty good job. It wasn't perfect, but some variability that was a little bit different. Definitely worth taking a look at if you're interested in the unprotected left turn scenario. So this is just basically a northern route out of Jacksonville, taking off of this road and then intersecting with I-95 and then a major interchange to I-10. I-10 and then to I-95. So it's a hairy intersection, especially at rush hour. It's not rush hour at the moment, but hopefully it'll be a good route to kind of demonstrate some progress. Interesting, I'm just noticing I'm routing with no traffic data at the moment. I've heard a lot of people reporting some cellular connectivity issues. Now I do have LTE connectivity. Oh, and I guess it just took a little while to load back up. All right, he's turning right off of this road here. It's going to be interesting to double check on the acceleration on the boost after a car turns off of a highway like this. Let's see if it's a slow boost. I guess, oh, he's going around him. There, nice job. Made the decision to go around. Did not overreact to that car joining the highway. Nice proceed through the yellow light. It recognizes the speed at 45. I don't think I have an override set on this profile. Yeah, I've got an offset of 0%, 0 miles an hour. And it's still got 50 miles an hour set. Is that possibly from when I joined the highway? Okay, as we pass through this next traffic signal, it is basically the on-ramp to I-10, and it would be I-10 eastbound, and it's not even a mile to the interchange to I-95, both north and southbound. So it's quite a very large intersection between two major interstates in the country. There's a lot of options to go north. There's 4 or 5 different lanes you can use. So the interesting thing on the previous version of Navigator and Autopilot is the car would not ever cross a solid white line, and it would get itself in a situation where it couldn't navigate to where it needed to go, and I would always have to intervene. So I'm looking forward to seeing Navigate well, full self-driving beta version 11, possibly crossing some of those white lines and being able to navigate successfully from this on-ramp all the way to I-95 North. All right, it crossed one line right in the dash section. You see the solid white line to the left of me here. But it looks like it's okay in this lane, and it can go north in this lane. I can also get over one more lane and go north too. Oh, a slow down there, all the way down to 40 miles an hour. That is not a good place to slow down to 40. Even the speed limit here is almost a little dangerous. It's tapping the brakes again. I think it's tapping the brakes as these cars that are passing me get in front of me. .35. It cannot slow down to 35 here on the speed limit sign. It looks like it's keeping 50, which is okay. Here we've got traffic backing up a little bit here with some construction. Let's see how it traverses these lights to go around. Yeah, it looks like we might have a road ranger here for a disabled vehicle. It's going to need to go around. Don't get too close to that. Oh, don't do that. Okay, I had to disengage there. It was not disabled vehicle and road. So it was just going to go all the way up to that road ranger, I believe, and then possibly get over. It wasn't recognizing it as such. And it jumped over into this lane at 45 miles an hour with a truck coming up on me right there at the very end. Slow acceleration with rapid traffic. So these speeds here at this interchange are what's creating some of these problems. You just cannot slow down to 35 or 40 miles an hour in the middle of an interchange that's flowing very, very quickly. Traffic flow is a very important part of safety on the highway. Sometimes even if it's breaking the speed limit, which is just a weird conundrum for software to have to solve. Okay, we do have a little bit more rain starting to come down. The drops are getting bigger. The speed of the windshield wipers hasn't changed much yet. But we're just about to the destination where I'm going to turn around. Oh gosh, it slowed all the way down to 42 there. I don't think it likes all these cars moving around. You can see the traffic on the other side of the highway. We're going to be jumping in on the return. So my drives yesterday on the way home from Orlando, when the traffic's flowing, it does pretty good, but it does not seem to like reacting to a lot of dynamic moving traffic jumping around. It wants to tap the brakes every time somebody kind of pulls back out in front of you. Just something to consider. All right, took the exit just fine, and we're just going to take a right and then do a return leg. Got to yield here, so it just needs to get the visibility to proceed, and it's clear if it wants to go. Okay, very slowly through there. It can turn right on red here if it wants. Nicely done. All right, And I just picked this school here to do a U-turn, almost like that person just did. So let me do a U-turn and reset. All right, got the return in here, and it should not be doing that. It needs to take a left right here. I don't know why it's confused. We're at this intersection where it can take a left. Inaccurate navigation. Okay, looks like it recaged itself. Sometimes those initial paths aren't always the best one. We just have to kind of keep watching and see how it does that. I hear an emergency vehicle. I don't know, I don't see it yet. We are right near a hospital, so it's probably an ambulance. There it is. So this is an ambulance right in front of us, just marked as a van. No special lighting for that yet. All right, green arrow, proceed. Should kind of go with a little bit more assertiveness than that. All right, and then straight through this light. With that car crossing, he had probably a unprotected left there. And we're gonna get a yellow light here, but that navigation was just fine. So this is a left onto an on-ramp into that traffic we saw just a few seconds ago. So we'll have to merge into some dense traffic, but it'll be moving slow. Green arrow protected. See what kind of speed it has here on this ramp. 55 right away. See, that's much better. Now it went back to 30. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point because the traffic's not moving. Oh wow, look at that 35 and 55 flickering. Holy smokes. Okay, now it needs to be careful. Too fast, way too fast. Now you're gonna get yourself in a bind. It needs to change lanes, and it's gonna pull one of those maneuvers. Now it's in an exit only, and we'll see if it finds somebody nice or if it picks a hole. Sometimes you can get in front of one of these trucks if you're aggressive. That's the hole. Take it. It did it. Wow. Okay. Well, thumbs up. I'm going to give that one a nice job. It did it. I did not like the speed at the on-ramp. It did that yesterday in Orlando. It's very unsafe to be going that fast when the traffic right next to you is going so slow. Because if somebody jumps out of traffic to kind of get out and they're going that slow, it can happen in an instant. But this part right here is probably going to be pretty boring, just kind of weaving through traffic unless it tries to do some lane changes. I believe I've got the lane changes right now set to chill. My experience in chill is it's just going to stay in this lane. It's not going to get impatient and jump out. But if I did put it over to aggressive, it would probably duck and weave in as best as it could. So you can kind of see the traffic that we're in here. It's a little slow spot here. It speeds up, and then this major interchange here between 10 and 95. Usually it gets a little bit busy this time of day. So chill will allow it to do lane changes. There's 3 settings in this mode now: chill, average, and assertive. Chill says it's just larger follow distance and fewer lane changes. In my experience driving yesterday, it never made a lane change. Average, was kind of like the previous version. It made the normal number of lane changes. Assertive, it jumped out with a few miles an hour. So you can kind of see this truck right behind us here. The car didn't really give him a gap, and he's just kind of waiting there, and he got in right behind me. So that would have been a scenario had I been driving. The car ahead of him got in front of that car. I would have slowed down and let him get in front of me, but the Tesla did not do that. All right, a little bit more rain coming down. It's almost at the threshold where the previous version of FSD would give me the warning of a degradation due to weather, but it would still stay engaged. It takes a pretty good downpour to disengage it on the previous version, but then re-engaging it was a little bit more difficult. It required it to be a little bit lighter. I guess that was just a shower, though. As soon as we come over the top of this hill and start going down, it's not a hill, this ramp, and going down a slope, there's some map data confusion on how they've designed these lanes to basically work with this very complex interchange, because you can go multiple ways. The best lane for me to be in to go where I have the navigation to is to be in this left lane over here. But I don't think the map data is going to have it. It looks like it's going to take the right lane, which means I'm forcing myself as soon as we get through this complex interchange to do a 3-lane over. If I was in that far left lane, I'd be in the correct lane to take the exit here on Roosevelt that the navigation shows. So you see, we're going to be taking this first left there, but now that I've taken this right lane, I've now got to cross all of this traffic to get to that exit, which is not very far away, which is the scenario that it created for itself, right? So that's local knowledge I knew to get over there. Now, granted, if I was from out of town, I wouldn't have known which lane to get in. I'd have just followed the signs for I-10 West. So you can't always say it's the computer's problem. Someone from out of town wouldn't know that either. Okay, the first thing I would be doing from this lane is getting ready to get over at least one, so I don't have to do multiple lane changes. It's not putting its blinker on, and it's not even showing the lane network yet. This traffic is moving slow, so there'll be opportunity. As you see, this yellow car in front of us is already making room, and now it's starting to show its intent on the screen. There's the blinker. Okay, it can do it. There's a gap. It needs to take advantage of that hole. There we go. And there's a big truck there. It's got its chance. It did it. It can get where it needs to go from this lane now. But you see, those 2 lane changes it had to do could have been avoided by an earlier lane change decision. I don't know how you get all that local knowledge into a map database. Maybe you can start tracing routes and keeping track, but local knowledge is definitely valuable for improving safety and efficiency. But either way, good job, version 11. You navigated the I-10, I-95 interchange successfully to get in the right lane. I don't see you having any problem getting off the interstate from here. All right, so you see we were in the scenario where this lane was moving slower because of all the traffic going straight. I'm actually taking a left and could have been in that left lane much earlier, but it chose not to get in that lane, maybe because of the chill mode that is selected. Chill mode says it'll make lane changes, just fewer of them. We were crawling with a completely wide open lane to the left, and it chose not to jump out. I'm sure I'll play with the settings a little bit more in the future. So I think what I observed there is in that slower traffic when we jumped onto the highway, it did a pretty good job changing lanes and getting where it needed to go. On our first leg, when we were going north, when the traffic was flowing, the speed limit data that was coming into the car and making it slow down in these interchanges was not very good. And cars going around me and then getting back in front of me were continuing to create these, brake pauses that were constantly slowing the car down. So speed control through map data was probably the culprit there that we need a little bit more work on. See that slowdown right there, down to 42? I'm already going the speed limit of 45, which is much slower than the flow of traffic. So taking that down another 2 miles an hour, although it seems like a small number, like look at this truck to the right. Yeah, he just completely swerved around me there. He was coming right up from the rear. For the purposes of testing in this profile, I've got my speed override set to 0. There's a lot of conversation about, not letting FSD during tests go over. When I drive in my own profile, I do have a percentage offset. It's a very good, open, debatable subject to decide, what you should do. But for the purposes of running these tests and validity, I didn't want to have any overrides in there. If you go back a little bit, this upcoming lane change has been coming in and out ever since 1.2 miles. It's almost like it was changing its mind. Now it looks like it's sticking to it, but I wonder what's going on in the navigation planner that would make it post the alert and then take it away, post the alert and then take it away. Seems like since 0.9 miles it's leaving it there. Just an observation. All right, one more turn to go. It's an unprotected forward-facing left. We'll see what the light does here and how the car handles it. But overall, that was kind of my new test route I think I'm going to use for kind of city streets and highway. I'm sure there was a lot of this that was fast forwarded. It cannot go. Do not go there. Okay. It's put itself in the lane, which was a decision I probably wouldn't have done, because if that light turns, I'm now actually in an awkward position for these other cars that would have the right of way first. So that was a poor decision. Now there's a small gap and then a large gap. We'll see if it goes for the small one. It looks like it's going to do it. It better go. Giving me a boost. Not as much boost as it needed. He had to tap his brakes a little bit, but it was, I could have hit the accelerator if I needed to, but I didn't hit the accelerator at all. So there you go. That's my new route. Not as much rain as I had hoped at the beginning. Let me know what you know in the comments below. If you like this kind of content, make a comment. Have a great day.